This is a day in the life of a childless woman. I wake up at 6 a.m. I remember that I have no kids to take to school, so I take an edible, masturbate, and go back to sleep. I wake up at 12:30 p.m. and get ready for a busy day of doing whatever the I feel like. I put on my most impractical and stylish shoes since I won't be chasing a child around the grocery store. I go to my fave spot in Paris to grab a croissant. I do a meditation sesh on the plane since I have no screaming kids, allowing me all the time in the world to become enlightened. The weightlessness of my existence has granted me superhuman powers. I teleport myself back home. Then I get ready for a night out with whatever hot guy I met on Raya that morning. I call up a babysitter and tell her that I don't need her since I still don't have kids.
Welcome to the CWC podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us on the helm of entrepreneurship, modern dating, current events, modern finance, and much, much more. Thank you for being here. As a matter of fact, we're going to give you a round of applause, not just for being here, but because we're 2 subs away from hitting 150 subscribers. We're at 148. Let's give you guys a round of applause. Long round of applause. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very, very much. Without you guys, obviously, we would have 0 subscribers. So to reach 148 in about 5 months is good for us. We'll take it, and we're going to continue to build on that. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave us a like or comment. We appreciate it. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into this. What are we talking about today? Well, today is a very interesting topic. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video. Interesting topic. So, do modern women still want to have children? That's the question. So this came up. Where did this topic come from? Well, you saw the clip in the beginning. That was Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler, by the way, she's 48 years old. She's a comic. I remember her from back in the day. I didn't know if that was satire or not, like when I saw it, if it was just part of her shtick. But there were several other content creators that picked it up. And that's actually the way that she feels. She does not want children, obviously. You saw her there. So that wasn't tongue in cheek. That's really how she feels. Some of that I'm a little bit skeptical. I think that she probably has a lot of regrets of not having children. So, now let's bask and boast about not having children. I think kind of a cry out for help a little bit. I think that's embarrassing too for a 48-year-old woman to be doing this. But hey, we live in a social media era where people will do anything for attention. So it doesn't surprise me. But I just wanted to kind of put my feelings on the clip before we jump into the meat of the material. So what are we talking about? Well, leading up to this topic, I did speak with a couple of women about this topic, women who do not have any children. And some of the stuff that they told me actually lines up with what I saw in my research notes. So I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys really quickly. And I want to show you just from this one particular article, some of the reasoning behind why women do not want to have children. And we're just going to paraphrase this. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but I just want to cover the top 10 on this particular. So this is an article from BuzzFeed. It came out last year in June. And here we go. It says 19 women get brutally honest about why they do not want kids. So I went through this whole article, and let's go through the top 10. So number 1, this young lady said, "I'm afraid that I'm going to end up like my biological mother." Well, I'm not going to read the details. I'll leave the article in the description. You can take a look. But that's legit. I can understand that. Some people say, "Oh, I'm too much like my mom, and my mom's nuts," right? This one, number 2, I don't like the idea of giving birth and changing my body. I heard that one a lot. I actually heard that from one of the young ladies who I spoke to, because let's be honest, we're in 2023, especially down here in South Florida. Fashion, fitness are really, really big, right? Really, really important. So especially women down here, they're, worried about losing their curves, right? So a lot of them are apprehensive for that reason. Number 3, I think goes without saying. I mean, predisposition of bipolar. I understand that if you have a medical issue that you think, could potentially pass down to your children, I can understand that one entirely. Number 4, I was bullied throughout my whole school life, mostly about my looks. She didn't want her kids to go through the same thing. Number 5 is just, I'm a wandering soul. This is someone who just, doesn't have time. Number 6, I feel like I'm too selfish to have a child. That's honest, if nothing else, right? I mean, that's somebody who I'd rather you be selfish and say, I'm not going to have a child than say, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway and then neglect the child, right? Number 7, I cannot have children on my own. That one is kind of irrelevant. I don't even know why they put it here. If you can't have children, then you can't do it, right? Number 8 is also kind of like that too. I don't know why this one is in there. If you had a life-threatening head injury and you don't think that you can take care of your kids to the fullest capacity, I understand that, right? Number 9, I didn't want to lose myself as an individual. And number 10 was, I kept thinking of reasons to put off children. Now that one is actually, I spoke to a female who actually said that too. Like, she hasn't actually ruled it out, but she's getting to that age where, because I believe she's 33 now, she's getting to that age where I might have waited too long. You know, she hasn't completely given up on it yet, but she's starting to feel a little weary because she's like, maybe I just waited too long at this point, because she thought about it at 28, thought about it at 29, put it off for a couple of years. Now, you know, you could be in a situation where you don't want to just go out there and have a baby with any Tom, Dick, or Harry, right? Like, you want to actually have a nurtured relationship before you do that, or at least I would hope that you would want to do that. And you don't just go out here and say, oh, let me make a baby right now because my biological clock is ticking, right? So those are all, you know, legit reasonings. There are some others I jotted down here on my notes. So the biggest hang up that I heard, guys, and this is going to come off as an attack on you, but I've been, from what I've read and what I've seen in stories and just talking to people, a lot of these women are saying that there's just not that many suitable men left out there on the market. That a lot of these guys that they do go out with or they date, a lot of these guys simply aren't up to snuff. What does that mean? Well, we already know that women are outpacing men in the United States in terms of education. They're going to school at a much higher rate, getting college degrees at a much higher rate. Guys have pulled back from that. So what's happening is, like, earning potential and earning power for a lot of women is starting to eclipse a lot of men that are out here in the field. So what's happening is now you have these women who have, you know, gotten their degrees, they've gotten their experience, they've been on the corporate ladder for a while, they're starting to get promoted and get higher up positions. Women don't like to date down. I mean, that's just a natural phenomenon. That's a natural phenomenon. Women typically date up and across the socioeconomic spectrum. Rarely do they date down. Men, we date up, down, sideways, doesn't really matter to us. Typically, a lot of men will date down. So that's the biggest hang up that I've heard from a lot of, like, working with professional women is they say there's not a man that I would feel comfortable with or that I would trust having children and starting a family with. I mean, hey, it's a legit concern. I can't speak to that. Obviously, I don't date men, but just based on, what I've seen and the research I've done, it seems to be a lot of apprehension. What's the biggest hang up? Well, I had one lady tell me, she said, well, the biggest issue that I've seen with finding a suitable partner, she's like, these modern men want a 1950s housewife. They want all the benefits of that. They want a woman to cook, clean, do all these things for them, iron their clothes, whatever. But they also want the female to contribute 50-50 to the household expenses. That seems weird to me. And I need to get more data on that because it doesn't really make any sense. Like, if the woman, if you're expecting her to be at home and do all of these, motherly duties, you want her to be the housewife, stay home, or not stay home because she's working, right? But be home, take care of the home front, take care of the cooking, do all the traditional things that women have traditionally done. But you can't also ask her tell her she's got to pay half of the expenses or a bulk of the expenses, unless, not that it has to be monetary, right? But just in responsibility, like, maybe some of the things that she is doing at the house, the man needs to pick up and say, okay, listen, we're contributing equally financially. Let me help with the domesticated stuff too. And then we can split that 50-50. That seems to be like the compromise that would work. At least what I'm in my brain, how I'm thinking. But apparently, and guys, hey, leave in the comments. Let me know. Like, am I off base on this? Is it, or is the research incomplete? Like, because here's the reality of it. there are a lot of men right now that want to have children. Like I've spoken to guys that really do. Like I said, I have no skin in the game. I'm a very blessed man. I'm very fortunate. I have my children. I already have 2 children, 2 daughters, beautiful daughters. I'm out of the game. So, but thank God that I have my children already, because I can imagine how stressful it could be out here right now in 2023 trying to find a partner, right, to start a family. And I hear a lot of, I hear it from both ends. I hear, guys say that the women aren't worth it. The women, they all want to be boss babes and run a household. And let me give you ladies one piece here. Be very careful what you wish for, because what I'm seeing in a lot of these stories is that a lot of women underestimate it. See, fifth wave feminism or modern feminism has created a real problem for a lot of women, because what it's done is that you've beaten men down so badly that they've backed off. Now the women have to take on a bigger share of the responsibilities just in life, right? So if you want to be like men, honestly, I don't think you want that job, ladies. I really don't think you want it. This whole idea of this patriarchal society and all these things and all these advantages that men have. Men, listen, we got to work for everything we get out here, right? I mean, if you're a man out here, there's very few social programs passing out handouts to men. That society expects you as a man to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get back out there. That's really what the expectation is. So be careful, ladies, with this whole "I don't need no man" movement, and I'll just freeze my eggs and I'll unfreeze them later and do all and I'll raise a kid on my own. I don't need no help. You're biting off a lot, but you're biting off a lot. So just be careful. That would be my advice. Tell me what you guys think. I mean, this is a very interesting topic. It's going to have some legs to it, because we should get some feedback on this, but based on what I've seen so far, and based on just, on the street interviews I've done with people, and I specifically spoke to people who did not have children and were not married, because I wanted to find out, hey, are you planning to? And some of them are. Like, some of them would they say, yeah, especially some of the younger ones. Oh yeah, I'd love to find somebody one day and get married before I'm 30. That would be great. Like, that would be the ideal situation. But unfortunately, with the way the dating market is, it's very, very difficult. And I think it's equally frustrating for men and women that their common ground is becoming harder and harder to find. Simplify things for a little while and take a step back and try to think. You're overthinking it, I think. That's what I think. I think that's what's happening. But you tell me. Tell me if I'm off base. Tell me what you think. Do you want to have kids, ladies? Let us know. Or kids. I mean, I heard I assume that every woman wanted to have a child, right? Like, I assume, I grew up with sisters. Both of my sisters have children, so I have nieces and nephews from them. Obviously, my mother had children. A lot of the women I've been around, because I was a married man, right? So most of the people I was around were married and had families. So that was my reality, right? Coming out here into this reality it's a whole lot different. So, I'm just trying to really, for my own knowledge, just kind of get a grip on, because it would be terrifying for me if I was out here right now as a single man and I didn't have any children and I wanted children. I might be in panic mode too. I might be, because sounds like it's a very difficult landscape out there. Like and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. Leave us subscribe, like, comment, dislike, whatever. Any engagement is great for the algorithm. We appreciate it. Short video today, like I said. Thank you for being here. We'll talk next time.